Photostory by Nikas. Martel's novel The Life of Pi chronicles the extraordinary experiences of Pi Patel in 3 parts. In part 1, the narrator is Pi Patel himself, looking back at his life. The reader finds out that religion is a very important part of Pi's life. Raised as a Hindu, Pi explores and accepts the Christian and Islam faiths, attempting to practice all 3 at once. Pi also tells the reader that his father once ran the Pondicherry Zoo, but due to political strife, his parents decided to leave India and move to Canada. On June 21, 1977, Pi explains how his family, with some caged zoo animals, set off on a Japanese car ship, the Tsimsum, to begin their new life in Toronto, Canada. In part 2 of Life of Pi, Pi narrates the sinking of the Tsimsum. He is awakened by a loud noise and is the only one to escape alive. He clings to a lifeboat as the ship sinks. On the lifeboat, Pi discovers he is not alone. As companions, Pi has a zebra with a broken leg, a hyena, an orangutan, and a Bengal tiger he names Richard Parker. Pi recounts day upon day of aimless and hopeless floating on the open waters, where he struggles to survive not only due to the ship sinking, but also as he's found alone with Richard Parker, trying to outwit and train the tiger is Pi's main focus for survival. Pi depends strongly on his faith in Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam in his day-to-day survival. As he explains early in the novel, all religions are true. I just want to love God. In part 3, Pi tells the reader how he and Richard Parker wash ashore on the Mexican coast and villagers take him to the hospital. Richard Parker disappears into the forest, and two Japanese officials visit Pi to find out details about the Tsimsum sinking. Pi shares with them 2 versions of his experiences. One is the animal story the reader has been told, and the other includes identical events but with human characters. The animal version the reader has been told allows Pi to make sense of his experiences. The survival instincts of the animals can be explained as part of their nature. It is only natural that the predator kills its prey. When the Japanese officials are skeptical of his animal story, Pi asks them if they want to hear a different story. This one replaces the animals with humans, but the Japanese officials still find the animal story to be horrible but more believable. The story also presents several conflicts. For example, the external conflicts of Pi vs. nature and Pi vs. Richard Parker. Pi is battling the natural elements while on the lifeboat. The possibilities of a storm, sea animals, and pieces of shipwreck all can lead to Pi's death. A second example of external conflict for Pi is Richard Parker, because Pi knows that at any moment the tiger may follow his true nature and attack Pi. Pi also faces an internal struggle with himself. He has to find the strength and will to survive when faced with exceptional danger and challenge. As a character, Pi is a dynamic character, because he has to face his fears and place his faith in God as the story unfolds. For example, Pi felt grief about killing and beheading a fish for food while on the lifeboat. Over time, he is capable of killing without hesitation, as he understands he must kill to survive. Pi also realized over time he must conquer Richard Parker's status and must become the alpha over the tiger. In order to do so, Pi changes his actions and mannerisms to become more like a dominant alpha animal. This also led to Pi losing some humanity since he ate the man that Richard Parker killed. In The Life of Pi, Martel invites the reader to explore 3 main themes. The first theme is survival and an individual's instinctive need to survive. Pi, at first glance, might seem to be extremely lucky in how he's able to survive the explosion on the Tsimsum and the following shipwreck. As the reader follows Pi's journey, it becomes obvious that Pi has to use wits to figure out ways to survive. Even though he is devastated by the loss of everything, he's able to tap into his basic human need to survive. Pi's instinctive need to survive pushes him to learn how to control Richard Parker. He's able to assume the role of the alpha, and Richard Parker takes his place as the omega. A second theme that Martel explores is the theme of storytelling. Pi's experiences show the reader that human needs stories to make sense of the world and connect with others. Pi narrates a version of his days lost at sea with the animals as companions. Once the reader learns that Pi can also tell a different version of what happened with human companions, it is obvious that Pi has created the animal version in order to cope with the brutality and harsh reality of the events that took place on the lifeboat. final theme to consider in the life of Pi is Pi's belief in God. Pi accepts that many religions share the same beliefs in God, and he embraces the opportunities to love God. Martel wants the reader to understand that God provides hope, and no matter the challenge, one can overcome anything with faith in God. Symbolism in Life of Pi plays a significant role in the reader's understanding and apprehension of the story. When we consider the animal version that Pi tells and compare it to the human version, the reader can appreciate the symbolism between the two versions. For example, in the animal story, Richard Parker represents Pi's brutality in their human version. If this is true, then the whistle in the animal version represents God and Pi's faith in God as he learns to control Richard Parker. Essentially, Pi uses his faith in God to control his brutal human instincts and learn to survive the deadly challenges at sea. In final consideration, Life of Pi is a complex piece of literature that makes the reader question the importance of faith and religion, as well as explore a human being's instinctiveness to survive. Also, Martel uses storytelling to exemplify the importance of human connection via stories. Thank you.